Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're going on a bit of a journey. We are tracing the whole fascinating evolution of how the web is actually built. Going all the way from those old school static pages to the massive web applications we use today. And then looking at this wild modern push to just, well, return to our simpler roots. It's an incredible story, and honestly, we've got a ton of ground to cover.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the building blocks of the web, then look at the DOM and semantics. From there, we'll dive into single-page applications, check out the 2026 front-end roadmap, tackle some client-side security challenges, and finally wrap up with the HTML first movement. All right, Section 1, Building Blocks of the Web, or as I like to call it, Constructing the Digital City.
To really wrap your head around web development, it totally helps to use an analogy. Think of building a website exactly like building a house. You rely on three core languages to get it done. First, there's HTML. That's your structural blueprint, right? The walls, the roof. Then you've got CSS, which handles all the interior and exterior decoration, the paint, the aesthetic styling. And JavaScript? Well, that's the dynamic functionality. That's the electricity, the plumbing, opening the garage door. It literally brings the building to life.
And this perfectly illustrates a huge concept called the separation of concerns. Imagine you decide to demolish that little house to build a massive, fancy apartment building. Obviously, your HTML structure and your CSS styling have to completely change to fit that new layout. But the JavaScript? The actual act of living in that space, like turning on a light switch or making dinner. That remains basically exactly the same. Keeping these things separate is absolutely crucial because it prevents massive headaches as your site grows.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, the DOM and semantics, organizing the neighborhood. So to actually connect all these building blocks together inside your browser, we use something called the Document Object Model, or the DOM. Think of it as a dynamic bridge. It basically takes your raw HTML and converts it into this logical tree of nodes. And because it does this, JavaScript can swoop in and update the content or style instantly. Actually, that's exactly why you don't have to reload an entire web page just to hit the like button on a post. But, and this is a big but, how you write that HTML structure really matters. If you just rely on generic, non-semantic div tags everywhere, it's honestly like building a house and labeling every single room box. Box 1, box 2, it makes no sense. But when you switch to specific semantic tags like header, main, and for, you drastically clarify what the code actually means. And semantic HTML isn't just about satisfying neat freak developers. It has massive real-world benefits. It lets screen readers actually navigate your site for visually impaired users. It heavily boosts your SEO because search engines absolutely love well-structured data. Plus, it completely future-proofs your site against weird changes and how browsers render things. Basically, good structure pays huge dividends. Let's jump to Section 3, Single-Page Applications, the Rise of Skyscrapers. As our little digital neighborhoods exploded into the 2000s, those simple semantic pages evolved into massive digital skyscrapers. We call these single-page applications, or SPAs for short. Now, SPAs are great because they give you this incredibly fast, snappy, app-like experience. They rely heavily on JavaScript to swap out content on the fly instead of constantly asking the server for a whole new page. But this meant shifting a massive amount of application logic directly onto the user's browser, forcing it to do some pretty heavy lifting. Which naturally brings us to Section 4, the 2026 front-end roadmap, choosing your materials. To actually build these complex SPAs today, developers have to pick from some heavy-duty frameworks. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you which one is the absolute best. We're strictly neutral on that. But they all have distinct vibes. React is basically the job market default right now, perfect for component-heavy dashboards. Angular, that's the strict go-to beast for huge enterprise teams. Vue gives you these really approachable, clear templates, and Svelte takes this totally unique approach with compiler-driven minimalism, meaning way less boilerplate code. It really just comes down to matching the right tool to your specific architecture. All right, Section 5, Client-Side Security Challenges, Inspecting for Vulnerabilities. Now, there is a serious catch to this whole SPA model. Because all of this complex framework code gets shipped directly to the user's browser, you are essentially leaving your building's blueprints just sitting out in the open lobby. Anyone can look at them. Attackers can literally scour through your JavaScript to find exposed REST endpoints, bypass your visible validation routines, and execute dangerous DOM-based cross-site scripting attacks. Sometimes they can even map out your entire database query structure. Yikes. So, to fight back against this, security researchers came up with Gelato, It's an automated, feedback-driven crawler. Basically, think of Gelato as a digital detective. It systematically maps out the hidden depths of modern JavaScript apps. It does state-aware crawling of UI paths, intentionally triggers server-side states, and then applies what's called lightweight taint analysis to detect dangerous data flows. And the absolute coolest part? It does all of this without having to modify the browser itself.
Finally, Section 6, the HTML first movement, architectural minimalism.
So, while tools like Gelato are out there protecting our modern digital skyscrapers, there's actually a growing countermovement asking a pretty radical question. What if we just stopped over-engineering the web? Enter the HTML first movement. They advocate for returning to the basics. The principles are super simple. Utilize modern HTML's full capabilities, prefer vanilla code over massive bloated frameworks, ditch all that unnecessary client-side state, and completely avoid complex compilation and build steps.
This is a massive shift in philosophy, right? Traditional SPAs completely hijack the DOM. They obscure the whole process with complex JavaScript. But HTML-first libraries, like HTMX or Alpine.js, do the exact opposite. They just extend existing web concepts. They let you trigger network requests and handle state directly through standard HTML attributes. It's literally handing the power back to the markup.
And you might be wondering, does this actually work? Well, the real-world results are honestly jaw-dropping. Take a look at this staggering 96%. When one actual real-world SaaS application migrated from a traditional SPA back to an HTML-first architecture, they reduced their entire codebase by 67% and completely eliminated a massive 96% of their JavaScript dependencies. That is insane!
So it leaves us with this really fascinating architectural crossroads to ponder. As web applications get more and more demanding, do we just keep engineering increasingly complex JavaScript solutions to handle all that bloat? Or is the ultimate answer hiding right where the web started, returning to the elegant simplicity of our HTML foundations? Honestly, that's something every developer is going to have to decide for themselves. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep building.